the ancient city of Ephesus. When the Pergamene king Attalus III died in 133 BC, he bequeathed his kingdom to the Roman people in his will. The city of Ephesus became part of the Roman province of Asia. The fact that Roman rule was not greeted with unanimous consent by the population is indicated by the euphoria with which the Pontic king Mithridates' attempt to conquer the province was supported. All Italians living in the province were sentenced to death, and in 88 BC, in Ephesus alone, 80,000 people were violently murdered in a single night. The revolt was suppressed by General Cornelius Sulla, and the city's freedom was withdrawn, thus making it liable to pay tribute again. In 33 BC, Mark Antony and his wife, the Egyptian queen Cleopatra, spent the winter in Ephesus and organized their campaign against Octavian, who later became Emperor Augustus. Octavian's victory at Actium not only meant the end of the Republic, but also a reorganization of the province of Asia. Ephesus became the permanent headquarters of the Roman provincial administration and capital city. The easy access to the sea made the city an economic center of Asia Minor. The harbor served as a reloading point for all kinds of commodities. When the Apostle Paul preached between 52 and 55 AD at Ephesus, he was confronted not only by an active pagan cult, but also by a lively Jewish community. As a result of a rebellion led by the silversmith Demetrius, Paul left the city in order to resume his missionary activities in Corinth. Ephesus reached its zenith during the 2nd century AD. Numerous monuments provide witness to this glorious era. After 230 AD, an obvious economic decline set in, for which a series of earthquakes, culminating in a catastrophic quake around 270 AD, as well as Gothic raids can be understood as prime causes. The Artemision was plundered, and the temple itself was burnt down. Clear traces of this destruction are also visible in the city. Rebuilding lasted several decades. Ephesus experienced a final recovery only in the 5th century AD. In the 5th century, the Basilica of St. John, located on the Hagios Theologios hill, increased in significance and developed into one of the most important pilgrimage centers of the Byzantine period. During the course of the 7th century, the basilica eventually took over the liturgical function of the Church of Mary and developed into the main church of the Ephesian Archbishop. In 654, Ephesus was attacked by Muawiyah, the governor of Syria, and in 715 by the Arab admiral Maslama on their return journeys from an unsuccessful siege of Constantinople. In the first half of the 9th century, Ephesus is still described in the ancient sources as the largest fortified city of the military administrative unit, the Trachesion. In 890 AD, it lost its political and military supremacy in favor of Samos, and shortly after of Smyrna, Izmir. In 1304 AD, the entire region was separated from the Byzantine Empire. The new rulers, the Aydinoglu family, a Seljuk princely dynasty, were succeeded in the first half of the 15th century by the Ottoman dynasty.
Christ's letter to Ephesus. Write the following to the messenger of the congregation in Ephesus. For these are the words of the one who holds the 7 stars firmly in his right hand, who walks among the 7 golden lampstands. I know all that you have done for me. You have worked hard and persevered. I know that you don't tolerate evil. You have tested those who claim to be apostles and proved that they are not, for they were impostors. I also know how you have bravely endured trials and persecutions because of my name, yet you have not become discouraged. But I have this against you. You have abandoned the passionate love you had for me at the beginning. Think about how far you have fallen. Repent and do the works of love you did at first. I will come to you and remove your lampstand from its place of influence if you do not repent. Although to your credit you despise the practices of the Nicolaitans, which I also despise. The one whose heart is open, let him listen carefully to what the Spirit is saying now to all the churches. To the one who overcomes, I will give access to feast on the fruit of the tree of life that is found in the paradise of God.